fellow Toastmaster, and honored guest. We have the pleasure to have Anna back with us from Slovakia. So it's great to have her with us. It's my pleasure to welcome you to today's meeting, which is our last meeting for the month of June. And it is also the last meeting for this team of club officers who have completed now with this meeting today their year at helping steering our clubs forward. So it's a great honor for us to be on that meeting. Before I turn over to Toastmaster Adot as the Toastmaster of the day, I would like just to announce that just as very briefly at the end of the meeting, I would just do a little handover ceremony or messaging just to say a few words to properly acknowledge the team who helped us this year and giving the keys of the club to the new set of club officer. On that note, I turn over to Toastmaster Adot to take the control of our meeting today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tristan. Welcome everybody to the meeting. As most of you have seen, we have quite a full schedule, which is a pleasant change. Sometimes this doesn't happen. We have 2 prepared speeches. We have a table topic section, and this will make it a pretty exciting time for all of us. Before I proceed, I would like to give control of the meeting to our general evaluator to introduce her team. Our general evaluator is Julia Vera. Julia, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. So today I'm going to be evaluating how the whole meeting runs, and I cannot do it alone. I'm going to have an amazing team to help me today. The first one is going to be the grammarian, who is going to explain to us the word of the day and its role. For Risa?
Thank you, Julia. So,
Hassan. Okay.
yeah, it's me. So for today Toastmaster session, I'm a grammarian, and for the just short description, grammarian rule is to highlight the grammatic issues, and at the end of the session to have a short report on how this grammatic error was, or let's say grammatic shortage, let's say. And also I have to introduce the word of the day, which is patronize. And as a meaning, please correct me if I'm wrong, what I understood, it's a kind of act which shows a support and kindness, but from a little bit distance of supervisory. So it's not direct kindness or support, but yeah, so it's a patronize. And yeah, so I give the floor back to Julia.
Hassan, would you mind writing the word of the day in the chat, please, so we can all see it?
Yeah, sure. Actually, it's also in the portal, but I will also put it in the chat right now.
Perfect, wonderful. Then we have the counter, which is going to be Karen. She's going to explain the details of her duties.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. As Julia mentioned, today I will be the counter, and I will count from now, starting from now, all the times we use and other crutches. Thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. And if our timekeeper, Jordana, can show us how she's going to be keeping up with the time.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
I've had some technical difficulties. Okay, so I have the colors right here. I will change the colors accordingly. As a reminder, we have 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and 7 minutes for the main speeches. And for the table topics, we have 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, and 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I am going to give back the floor to our Toastmasters of the day, a dot.
Thank you, Toastmaster Julia, General Evaluator. I'll just have a small request for our timekeeper to please show those colors so we all know what they are. I saw pink and nothing else. And perhaps explain which one is which.
Sure. So I have red right here. Sorry, I tried to use the backgrounds, but it didn't work on my computer from work. So then we have green. I will get closer. And then we have yellow. So for the main speeches, for the two presentations, we have yellow for 5 minutes, we have green for 6 minutes, and we have red for 7 minutes, which means you're over the time limit. For the table topics, we have 1 minute for yellow card, then we have 1.5 for green, and then red is 2 minutes. Thank you.
Just really quick, green actually goes first. That means you've made it the first 5 minutes, and then yellow's to slow you down, and red. So maybe swap them, Gordana.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah.
No problem. Good. I think we're all set. We can start with our speech section, the prepared speeches. Our first speaker is our presiding president, Tristan. Tristan has been president for the last 2 years or just 1 year, and has led the club ably throughout the COVID period, has introduced the Zoom technology, and basically made us very comfortable with being together without being together. He will be speaking today about the post-COVID-19 return to the workplace communication. Very complicated sounding. This project comes from the Visionary Communication Pathway, and it is the last speech in that particular pathway. And with that, I would like to ask his evaluator, who wasn't introduced, unfortunately. His evaluator is, as far as I can see, Maria Teresa, to kindly tell us what the speech is about, what you will be assessing, and how. Maria Teresa, Toastmaster Maria Teresa, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our esteemed guest, Sushan. Welcome on board, Sushan. The purpose of this speech is for the member to practice developing a communication plan. And specifically, I'm supposed to be listening for a well-organized speech about the member's experience with some aspect of plan development. He or she may choose to share any part of the process, including the results of implementing the plan. If the plan was implemented, the speech should not be a report about the content of the developing a communication project. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Many thanks indeed, Madam Evaluator. With that, I would like to introduce our president, Tristan, Toastmaster Tristan. Please present your speech.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day and fellow Toastmaster and another guest. It's my pleasure to share my experience at developing a communication plan in the context of organizing the return to work at the VIC for the IEA. So that was a challenging communication and exercise, and I would like to share the context first, and then 2 thoughts on this process of developing and basically implementing a communication plan. So let me start with the context. First, we were in May, early May, and we could see that the COVID pandemic was slowly getting on track in Austria, with vaccinations picking up and infection rates going down. So we see that there was finally light at the end of the tunnel. And then our senior management assessed that as the agency type of programmatic needs is largely based on work in-person work. So we wanted to engage a return to work. But we were the first agency who communicated and was about to communicate on the return to work at at the VIC, and that was quite of a challenge to organize. So early in the week of the 10th of May, we decided that we will organize a gradual return from the 19th of May to the 30th of June, and that we would be announcing this to our staff the following Monday. So that was the plan. But the context is you have to realize on one side, management would like to see the staff coming back in person at the VIC for professional reasons, for because also of the health situation, but also because we realized that hybrid meetings would not be a workable solution for the agent. Hybrid work models would not be a solution for the agency to operate in. But on the other side, we could sense a great push from staff to continue the flexibility, the work from home, for two reasons. Some had health concerns, and others, or sometimes the same people, also enjoyed the flexibility on their private life of having the ability to work from home. So that was the challenge of the context. So two thoughts I would like to share with all of you that we experienced through this, through this process, through this communication strategy. Timing is of the essence in communication. And if you're not careful about it, it could be harmful. And let me share you some thoughts. So early on the week of the 10th of May, we decided we're gonna go back to work, engage our gradual return to work. On the Friday of that week, on the 14th of May, I called a meeting with the VIC crisis management team, our colleagues in the other VBO, and then announced to them, to their great surprise, that on Monday, we would be announcing to our staff that we are going back to the VIC. They were in a bit of a state of shock and actually pushed back on the day and tried to let us try to see if we could delay for various reasons. So that was the first step of the communication plan. The second step was to tell our staff. So we had planned an issue, a normal standard documentation on the Monday to be issued in the afternoon. But our president of the staff council issued an email ahead of us using the draft we circulated as a clearing process to share that information ahead of us. So didn't change much at the end, but it was interesting to the concept. And finally, only a week later, we organized a meeting with the staff council representative, about 50, 60 people, to discuss the situation at the gradual return to work. And then each department manages its own way. On the 25th of May, I organized a meeting with all the staff in the Department of Management. So we had 400 attendants. So what did I learn from this perspective? When you're communicating on such an element, you need to communicate fast and communicate to the broad audience. And we could have been faster at communicating and sequencing all this meeting in a much faster space. So timing is of the essence, and it could be harmful if you don't manage it properly. My second thought is messaging clarity is important. However, massaging it is critical. What I want to say is you need a clear message on what you communicate, but you need to constantly massage that message into the skin, because otherwise it's like cream. Otherwise it doesn't sink in, especially for some people who are coming from an extreme position on what you're proposing. So our message was very simple. We had an argument, which was the low epidemiological risks associated with the COVID situation, which was going down and which enable a return to work. That was our message, but it was a difficult message to sell. When we did presentation with staff council representative and staff, we didn't have a lot of direct pushback or comments from our staff, but got a lot of indirect comments. People anonymously writing to staff council representative, and then that was forwarded to us in an anonymous way. And you get questions from all over the place, concerns. Some people wanted us to open the showers immediately so they can take showers here at the VIC, while some other staff basically said we were criminals to reopen the VIC and that we were. So you have to manage these both elements. And here, the message is we need, and we should have repeated and repeated and repeat our message much stronger. The lessons also we learn is there's the initial apprehension about the message, but after a couple of weeks, people and staff have largely internalized the message and got over it. And we didn't have so much pushback from it. So to conclude, the communication plan and the strategy, as actually suggested in the pathway, is a great way to think about all elements of your communication, especially when you're planning for something which is quite challenging and where a lot of your audience is starting from a different perspective. We could have done much better in different areas, but it was a very interesting experience to do, and also to look also from the eye from Toastmaster of what the methodology and the practice is recommending. So I invite you to also prepare your next plan based on this communication plan template, and it will help think the message into the skin.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Tristan, for educating us on the difficulties of communicating with everybody, because that's exactly what was happening in this particular situation with the entire range of staff, inside, outside, and so on. This brings us to our second prepared speech for the day, which will be made by Toastmaster Melanie. Her evaluator is Toastmaster Inez. And I would like to ask Inez to be so kind and please give us a review of what the speech is supposed to be about, what you would be assessing. What did I do wrong?
1 minute.
1 minute for evaluation. Yeah, I was coming to that. 1 minute for everybody to send their comments, after which Toastmaster Inez, as the second evaluator, will give us a presentation on what the speech is about, Melanie's speech is about, what she'll be assessing, and how. 1 minute. How are we doing on time, Dodana?
It's right up now. So we're done. 1 minute's over.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Dodana. And with that, I would like to hand control of the meeting to Inez so that she can make her presentation on what the second speech will be about and what she will be assessing. Toastmaster Inez.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Adot. We have for our second speech a very talented Toastmaster, Toastmaster Melanie, and she will give us her experiences on an issue which is essential to all of us, which has nothing to do with patronizing, but has to do with mentoring. The objectives of her actual speech is to clearly help us to define how Toastmaster could envisage mentoring. And she, as a purpose of her meeting, of her speech, will share with us some aspects of previous experiences as a mentee. She will help us to clearly understand in which direction to go. Back to you, Toastmaster Adot, Toastmaster of the Day. The timing is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Inez. With that, I would like to ask our second speaker of the day, Toastmaster Melanie, to proceed with her speech. Toastmaster Melanie.
Well, to start off, I want to first not patronize my actual mentor, Maria Teresa, but the reason I'm giving this speech today is because she was so kind to actually give me her slot, because she wants to encourage me to finish level 2 so that we as a Toastmasters group, the VIC group, we can win a prize. So before I start, I just wanted to say that, to thank Maria Teresa. The title of my speech, nobody said, it is actually called The Meaning of M in Mentoring. Hello, Toastmasters. I'm here today to share with you my experiences and how I developed as a mentor, and not necessarily with Toastmasters, but in general. And I've been the mentee, or as we say, the protege, under a mentor in the agency. And those of you who know me, you know I like to find a connection in things, in words, in numbers, in signs in our life. And in this case, it's the letter M. And how this letter has helped me in the mentoring process. The first M. Let me take you back to the month of May 2013. I'm already working 10 years for the IAEA, and I enjoy my job. I understand what my duties are, and I deliver. I come into work, I'm clocking in, I'm clocking out, and I basically know what I'm doing. But the daily grind is setting in. And I stopped and I thought, no, I want more. I want more out of life. So I looked for something that would challenge me. Enter the next N, the idea of an MBA. I wanted to extend the education that I had had so far, which was just a bachelor's. So I looked for programs that would work for me. And at the time, remember, it's 2013, so it's very difficult to find a distance learning program. And I was lucky enough to find one through the Open University. I had a lot of challenges. I was mother of 2 children. They were 11 and 14 at the time. And I had family obligations, and I worked full time. So it worked for me to be able to find this program that was a distance learning through the Open University. But I needed a mentor. And I didn't necessarily want to go with my actual director in the division I worked for, MTGS. So I asked another MT director. And his name was Matthias. Some of you may know him as Dr. Lodiman. And he agreed to assist me, and he was going to be my mentor. But he was tough, and he asked me, he said, before taking on this task, I have one question for you. Why do you want your MBA? So I thought about it, and we were to meet over coffee the next week and discuss my reasons. And that's where my 3 other M's come in. My mission. What was my mission to get my MBA? And it actually was a twofold mission. Number one, I wanted to have some more professional growth. I wanted to move on in my career, and I thought by getting my MBA, this would give me better job opportunities. But then I realized there's more than just professional growth. There's a personal development. And the personal development I saw was continuing my education to grow further and to keep on learning. And it's a process. So this got me, enter the next M, motivated. I was very motivated because I would meet with Matthias and we would have coffees and we would discuss my papers. He would talk to me about improvements and encourage me to stay focused. He said, you need guidance in your papers because sometimes you tend to go off subject. So it was really encouraging to sit with him and get his point of view, because my main paper that I needed to write was something about my work. And I had done a knowledge transfer policy that I wanted to integrate into the section that I worked in management. So he had this institutional knowledge. So we actually would discuss this and share stories. And because of this, our friendship really grew. And this led me to the completion of my project. Enter my last M, magnify. And if you know the meaning of magnify, it's to intensify and to make something larger, like a magnifying glass. So I magnified my goals. And this is what happened to me in this whole process of being the mentee. Because I feel as though once you set your goals and you reach that certain level and you attain something, then it challenges you to want more and more. It pushes you even further. So having a mentor can really have a personal impact on your life because it encourages you to really focus on multiple goals and long-term goals. And the idea is that we're on a lifelong learning process. And what I personally gained from being a mentee was not only, I would say, encouragement and guidance, but the support to accomplish the goal that I set for myself. And I knew that I had someone to check in with, to keep me on track, to keep me focused. So I leave you with one message today. My message to you, my last M, is to never stop learning and growing. I returned the control of the meeting back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Adult.
Toastmaster Melanie, thank you for educating us. My apology for forgetting to give the title of your speech. I truly apologize, but I think you took it up quite well and you did a great job telling us what M can stand for when we're thinking about being mentored or being a mentor. So that completes this first section of our meeting today, which was all about the prepared speeches, and brings us to the most exciting and thrilling section of the meeting, the table topic section. But before we get to that, I'll ask for 1 minute for everybody to give feedback to Melanie. Use the chat to do that. And
Okay,
don't
1 minute
get
starts
lost now.
Okay. No.
Excuse me.
One minute's over.
One minute's over. Our table topic section will be led by Toastmaster Silla. Toastmaster Silla has been an excellent and very active member of the club. We're pleased that she's volunteered yet again to lead the table topics section. I would like to give Toastmaster Silla the floor to lead us through the table topic session. Toastmaster Silla.
Thank you very much, Adot, and it's a pleasure for me to be the table topic master for today. I have a little theme for the topics that I've prepared. It's called Reflect, Rethink, and Reset. And I have prepared 6 questions in total, but I understand that today's meeting we might want to take it a bit shorter so that there would be handover for the XCOM. So in case, if you want a shortened version, please do let me know. I can then just cut it out. And I'll just talk a quick statistics, and I can see that there are 4 Toastmasters that have no roles today. So I'll go ahead to ask these 4 Toastmasters 4 questions first. And then if time allowed, then I would ask the 2 remaining questions as well. So for all the 4 Toastmasters which don't have any role for today, so This would be your chance to shine, to reflect, rethink, and reset. So first of all, my first question would be for Nicole. Are you there, Nicole?
I tried to hide, but it didn't.
There is yeah. So the question for you, Nicole, would be, what was or what were your favorite lockdown activity? Can you share with us for the past year what was or what were your favorite lockdown activity? Toastmaster Nicole, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Silla. Lockdown was a very hard time, I heard, for a lot of people, and that I can understand. I am lucky enough not to have children around anymore, to have a rather big apartment, and to have a little house, or hütte, as they say here in the country. And that helped a lot during the lockdown, the first lockdown anyway, when I could go to my little hütte and garden. But that was not my favorite activity, or that's not what I will remember for the lockdown, which I think will be the last. But my favorite activity, mind you, was Zoom, because Zoom was such a new experience, with something that really opened horizons for all of us, but for me in particular. It helped me, first of all, to stay in contact with my friends, my family, with you people, with my associations. It helped me further develop some activities that I had. It helped me make conferences, something that I thought was not going to be possible, to have even a larger audience for, you know, my little conferences. And it also is going, in my view, to open new horizons in the future, in particular for Toastmasters, because we are going to be able to have guests from all around the world. We're going to be able also to have people come to our meeting who, for one reason or another, won't be able to come to the VIC. So for me, Zoom was something I had never dreamed of, although I know there are limits and there are disadvantages, but that's what I will remember basically from the lockdown. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And we are very happy to know that you're doing something that you enjoy, particularly joining the Toastmaster on Zoom. So thanks for your sharing. And the next question, I have the next question for Anna. Are you there, Anna?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So the question for you is, in reflecting, you know, over the last year, if you only can name one, what is the biggest lesson that you have learned? Just one lesson that you have learned over what we have gone through during the last year. What is the biggest lesson that you have learned? Toastmaster Anna.
Thank you, Toastmaster Silla, for this really tough question. Why is it tough? Because I believe, and I hope I am not alone, I learn a lot. In what sense? We were always learning as we are going through life. There is a progression, there is a change always coming. However, this was something special because I have learned which people I really want to spend my time with, because usually we are spending time, I know a lot of amazing people, group of people, one of them is of course Toastmaster, and then I learn what type of people is the best to spend time with. It could be different for everyone, because there is no clear definition of a type of person, but who is lifting you up most, not just with the positive thinking, but how they approach life and what you can learn from them. I know it sounds very general, but it's mostly about where would you like to go and who are your mentors or heroes. That's what I learned, who my heroes are. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Anna. So for reminding us the importance of like sort of spending time, with people who we care the most. So my third question would go to Lily. Yes, who would actually, I wanted to ask her, how has social distancing changed the way that we communicate? Do you have any positive takeaway that this experience, can help us? How has social distancing changed the way that we communicate? And any positive takeaway? Toastmaster Lily, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster, Topics Master, Silla. Social distancing changed our way of communication. Certainly for many of us, the digital world has taken on a much more prominent role in our relationships. And for me, I have tried to, this whole period of the Corona period for me was, I almost put myself in an extra category. I feel I don't fit into what was actually going on, or I'm not affected by it. I was already retired, but I was focusing on my health, on my knee operation. So I was not impacted in the same way as others. The impact on me of the Corona was that my operations were postponed, that my family could not come and visit me in the hospital or in the rehab. So the social distancing meant that I had to invest a lot more in WhatsApp and messaging and other ways of communicating. But in the hospital, nobody appreciates it when you're on the phone all day because you're sharing a room with somebody else. So there were quite a few challenges in checking what types of communication tools I use. And actually, I really have, I think, fine-tuned my access through social media, through the digital world, to the point that, I've heard some people talking about some spooky something that is going to happen that is going to be even more severe than Corona. And I thought, what will you do if the internet crashes? If the electricity crashes, how will we communicate then? How stable are our relationships really? And what does social distancing mean in our real relationships with one another? And how real are our relationships? I throw the question at all of you without patronizing.
Thank you so much, Lily, for sharing your very personal thoughts and ideas on this point, and actually give us some more thoughts for, food for thoughts, like on the topic. So the fourth one would be Tatiana. And for Tatiana, I wanted to ask you if the pandemic has changed your outlook on life. And if yes, how does it has changed your outlook on life? And if it hasn't, why it was the case? Has the pandemic changed your outlook of life? If yes, how? If not, why? Toastmaster Tatiana.
Thank you, fellow Toastmaster table topic master of today, for asking this question. Indeed, COVID and pandemics made our outlook of life different, at least for some time, if not for a lifelong memory for the future. And it was indeed my case that I had to slow down on some issues and enjoy the moment as much as I could, even under such circumstances. Why it has changed my life and outlook? Because I I wouldn't like to use the word stuck, but I was at home with my family, with my beloved children, and I had to cope with 3 aspects of life, not forgetting all of those. The first one was taking care of kids. The second was work, not given in the order of priority, of course. And the third, my me time, which was important to not to forget about. And I hope that I will be able to preserve what I've learned through this conscious follow-up on what I'm doing and balancing all 3 aspects as much as I could, even beyond the pandemic, which we are hopefully having in the next half a year or so. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Tatiana, for summarizing, the impact of pandemic on different aspects of your life, and also reminding us the importance of our me time. So I have 2 more questions that I can ask, but before we move on, I just want to check with the Toastmaster. Are we in good time management? Should I proceed, or should I just cut it out?
Please proceed.
Okay, thanks. And are there any Toastmaster who would love to take on the challenge of a table topic before I pick someone? Anyone? Any volunteers? Right. Just raise your hand, or no? Okay, so I guess that's part of my job. Like, I just have to pick someone. Like, okay, so the next one, then I would hand it to Gadona, because she would be taking over my job as the secretary in the in the XCOM. So I wanted to also give you the chance, like this, a gift for the table topic, like as part of the handover. And so as life slowly returns to normality, how do you foresee your life would be different from the pre-COVID time? Is there any new habits that you would like to keep, like as we go back to normality? So the question is, as life slowly returns to normality, how would your life be different from the pre-COVID time? Any new habits that you would like to keep? Toastmaster Gordana, please.
Thank you, Sila, for picking me. There are, as earlier somebody mentioned, there are a lot of lessons that we learned from this period. Particularly if there is something for me that I will carry on. The types of habits, I can talk a lot about it because I started reading a lot about some psychological books, and I started doing some things that I always wanted to do, but I never had the time. But that will take too long. But what I learned actually a lot from this, and what I will take over in the future, is do not wait at all. When I want to do something, just start doing it right now. If I cannot do it right today, then maybe just make a plan to make it in the close future. Use those clothes that I'm like keeping them, and that cosmetics for special days. Don't do it. Just use it whenever you feel like. Go out whenever you want to, and don't wait. Just don't wait. Take the time and use it wisely. For the future of the world in this situation, I would just say I wish that we learned to take care of our nature, because during this time we saw that there were a lot of positive effects on nature. I hope that we will take a more green future and invest in sustainability on personal level and on wider policy level and in the private sector. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for your sharing. I guess that's the sentiment that a lot of us can share, right? Like now we do not want to wait. We want to take our holidays, but at the same time, we need to make sure we pay attention to take care of our nature. So thanks a lot. And the last one is a point that I would also like us not to forget, because this has been a difficult period. And as much as we go back to normality, we shouldn't forget that there is still a lot of people who has gone through a lot of difficult challenges during this time, and they have suffered from a lot of losses. So the last question is a bit difficult one, but I'm sure you can do it, and it will go to Karen. I wanted to ask you, how can we do better to cope with grief and or help the others to recover? So what can we do to better cope with grief and or help others to recover? Toastmaster Karen.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sila. That's indeed a very difficult question. I personally have faced this situation of losing someone very loved to me once. It was my grandmother, and I'm still recovering from it. So I cannot say how can we overcome this, but it also happened to me 2 years ago. I was dating a guy, a very good person, and he lost his father. And I thought after I lost my grandmother, I thought I could never like recover from that or be strong to face a situation like that. But I did. I did face that situation. I'm sorry. And I was strong enough for my partner at the time, and I helped him with everything I could. I organized a birthday party for him. I organized a holiday as well to Iceland, and we saw the Aurora Borealis. So it's just going on with your life. That would be all.
Oh, thanks a lot, Karen, for your very, very personal sharing. Really sorry about that, but I hope that, here we can also sort of form through Zoom, through the community, we can sort of like also form a network to support each other to go through this difficult time. And so that is it for my table topic. As a recap, I just wanted to briefly recap who has talked about what, so that you can decide who would be the best table topic speaker. First, we have Nicole, who shared with us her favorite lockdown activity is on Zoom. Then we have Anna, who reminded us the importance of spending time with the people that you care the most. We also then have Lily, who share with us a bit of the struggle in terms of finding the suitable medium to communicate during this challenging time. There is Tatiana, who reminded us the importance of me time and different aspects of, balancing different aspects of your life. Then there is Donna, who reminded us that we shouldn't wait and we have to take good care of our nature. Then the closing, we have Karen, who really very openly share with us, like, the difficult and challenges that she's going through. And yeah, in closing, I just wanted to say thank you for all the XCOM or whoever that is organizing all these Zoom meetings throughout the last year. It has been incredible that we still have our club meetings through Zoom going on, and always full program, even though sometimes people take up roles last minute, but no one can tell. So, that's what I find amazing about this club. And I just really want to say thank you for all those who work behind the scene to make it happen. So thank you all, and I hope you enjoyed the table topic session.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sila. That was, as I thought it might be, a thrilling session. Difficult for some of the questions you asked, but nonetheless thrilling. Gave everybody a chance to make a quick, short speech. Now it's time to vote. And this will be done by sharing the name of the person we think was the best table topics speaker. Send that vote name by chat to David, our ballot counter. For that, you'll have 1 minute. So where's our timer?
Yes, you can start right now.
Yes, please. If I don't see your face, I just don't see it.
1 minute's over.
Thank you very much, Gordana. Thank you, everybody. And the third part of our Toastmaster meeting begins. This is where we evaluate. We evaluate the prepared speeches. We also evaluate whether or not we speak on time, whether we use too many hours. All of this will be done now. And to leave that section, I would like, no, I don't need to do that actually. I would like to ask the first evaluator, Maria Teresa, Toastmaster Maria Teresa, to present her evaluation of our first speaker, Toastmaster Tristan. Toastmaster Maria Teresa.
Madam Toastmaster of the Day, shouldn't you be turning over to the general evaluator?
Yes, so the general evaluator.
Is the one that does it. My mistake. Please,
Yeah,
Madam
you
General
don't-
Evaluator
never
Julia,
need to say sorry. Never.
please go ahead. Well, if the question is asked, it's good to accept one's mistakes. So, Madam General Evaluator, I pass control of the meeting to you.
Thank you to Master of the Day, Adat. Now, we're only going to learn how to speak better with appropriate feedback. And we have a full team who's going to tell us everything that we have done good and bad. Our first evaluator is going to be Maria Teresa, who is going to give a critical feedback about Tristan.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. I think most of you know that Toastmaster Tristan is a very senior manager at the IAEA. And for me, his speech was a speech given to management and not to a Toastmasters. You started off with, "It is my great pleasure to share." Very diplomatic, but where is your Toastmaster's strong start? My pleasure? Go straight into it. Make us want to know what's going on with this plan. I also, by the way, didn't like your title. I thought your title could have been shorter and catchier, but let's move ahead. I believe you used within 3 or 4 sentences the expression "to share." You're used to sharing information and you do it well, but I would prefer you used another word. You spent a long time setting the background of what was going on in the VIC in May. But more importantly, I wish you would have told us a little bit more about this crisis management team. For me, the most important sentence in your speech was, "Timing is of the essence." We all got the sense of urgency and the need that we have to do something. We have to get people back to work, and so on and so forth. You excel at communicating information in a very concise manner. You speak with authority and credibility, to your strengths, but you're a manager used to doing that. Be more Toastmastery, if I may say that. Start strong, develop your speech, prove your point, and at the end, don't say "in conclusion." That is so manager-esque for me, "in conclusion." Tell us what we should do about it, Toastmaster Tristan. Give us a little passion. I know it's in you. Otherwise, congratulating on completing your level of visionary communication. You certainly do excel at that. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, fellow Toastmaster. Now we're going, I know it's not fellow. I know, my bad. And I'm sorry for saying sorry. And one of the lovely things that we know about Maria Teresa is that she's never patronizing. She just goes to the point and she's blunt. Very good. This is how we learn. Now our second evaluator is going to be Ines, who is going to be evaluating about Melanie's speech on the meaning of the M in mentoring.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Could I have 4 minutes from you, please? If you agree, thank you. Wow. Toastmaster Melanie, congratulations. You really excelled at unraveling the M's in your life. And creatively, you will really put them together in a way which has everything to do with your own belief system. And I think we can really learn from how you have interwoven this in your process of self-development. You have developed also the synergies between the M's in your own way. And as I said in the beginning, you are talented and you have the creativity, and congratulations, well done. It is something which has to do with Toastmasters, and mentoring is also very important as a process in our own self-development program. So I had hoped that you would actually start in your speech with the essential element and the essential process of mentoring, thereby bringing in also your own experiences, the 4 M's, perfectly well done. And in the end, I also had hoped that you could have ended with what does this mean for Toastmasters based on your own experiences. So that means I feel that your ending could be much more forceful because you want to let it stick with us. You don't want to have a Teflon effect. Yeah, she has said it. Okay, it bounced out, bounced back. You want to have really that we are getting something out of this. And that means you want us also to turn around, because in Toastmasters at the moment, we're looking very carefully at the mentoring process. Who is being mentored by whom? What do we get out of it from both sides? And bringing us back to your ending, I feel that you could have ended with a much more positive outlook. For such a real creatively set up speech, you could have really said something which is much more positive than never stop learning and growing. That is a bit of a trite statement. Really try to really give a punch, because you can do it. I know that. As to your delivery, your spoken language is excellent. Vocal variety was very good. You looked into the camera, because this is also something we also have to train, and we're learning, and I see also with on the basis of my own experience, eye contact was good, your gestures were good, audience awareness, we were hanging to each and every word you were saying, because we all have a stake in what you're saying. You had our interest, you were very comfortable, and it is certainly a speech which is bringing us a couple of issues which has a learning impact, which have really an indent, a dent in the way we see the mentoring program for ourselves, but also for the others in Toastmasters. And with that, I would like to turn back control of the meeting to the general evaluator, Toastmaster Julia.
Thank you, Ines. Now we're going to the smaller things, but that they all add up to a very good feedback for all of us, what we did right or wrong as well. So now Karen is gonna tell us about the fillers that we have used in our speeches.
Exactly. So I'm going to mention the number of times that you used crutches while speaking. Tristan 6, Anna 1, Julia 1, Lily 1, Ines 1, Sila 4, Tatiana 4, and Gordana 5, and Nicole 1. That will be all for my report. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. Now, if Hassan could tell us about the use of the word patronizing and about the other grammatical mistakes we have made, and as well as who you will give the crown of grammar crown, of an expression that was interesting, something that we should take back with us.
Toastmaster Julio, thank you for this opportunity that I give my report. Before I recite this week's grammatic report, I have to again mention, really, I'm not in a level to reflect or monitor the grammatic errors of my seniors, because I think this Zoom meeting is full of seniors. So, but what I can say is maybe these are the reports or the words that maybe because of the acoustic error, I couldn't hear it, and I'm just reflecting it. And so I continue with my report. First of all, to the positive side, Ines used once the word of the day, and also Julia, thanks both of them. And for the grammatic issues, let's say, what I hear was Tristan used being present at the VIC, but this is my understanding, maybe in the VIC, because at for me is at the door of the VIC. So, and for Melanie was long life she used, but lifelong. This is my understanding, sorry. And Sila, you used I have prepared. I have prepared. The D was missing. And for Lily, it was just a technical word. Internet crash, internet shutdown. So, and Gordana, she used I wish we learned. I wish we have learned. So the have was missing. So this was just based on my understanding. I'm not native English speaker. Thank you. Floor back to Julia.
Thank you, Toastmaster Essen.
Can I just add one thing? I did use the word patronize when I talked in the beginning of my speech. I said Maria Teresa was patronizing me by giving me her slot. So, Eshan, do I get a point?
I already mentioned the errors here in my place, so I didn't hear it. Sorry.
All right. Just as a following up with what Hessen said, when I actually went to last year to one of the Toastmaster workshops in one of the conferences, there was a person, he was an English native speaker, and he was explaining about the role of the grammarian and about how many international people doesn't feel completely confident or secure to be in the role. But in total honesty, if you see, people who are native speakers also make mistakes because they're nervous, because they're mixing words or so on. So it is still within our capacity to be able to catch on those things. And even if they're seniors still make mistakes and they still need to learn. So I think as well, the English language is completely evolving over time. And we are the second English speakers, but still, I mean, we're still using the language quite well, and it evolves within the UN context as well. So I would still encourage all the people who do not speak English perfectly, because that never exists. My mother tongue is Spanish. I still make 1,000 mistakes, to still take the role and to go with it. Because it's interesting to start catching up that people actually still, everyone makes mistakes. Anyways, now we go to our timekeeper, Jordana, who's gonna tell us if everyone was on time.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. So let's start with the main speeches, Tristan and Melanie. Tristan was just 13 seconds above his limit of 7 minutes. Melanie did well, 6 minutes and 5 seconds. Then I will continue with the Toastmasters, the topic speakers, the table topics speakers. Nicole, 2 minutes and 3 seconds, just a little over the limit. Anna did very well with 1 minute and 13 seconds. Lily did 2 minutes and 29 seconds. And Tatiana the perfect timing, 1 minute and 30 seconds. And myself, I also counted 1 minute and 43 seconds. The evaluators, Maria Teresa, 2 minutes and 5, and then Ines 4 minutes and 10. Although I think you already asked for 4 minutes, right? So that is all.
Thank you, Toastmasters Jordana. Now, as your general evaluator, I'm going to just give a few remarks on what happened today. First, something that we have been doing lately that I do like is trying to have consistency on changing the name, virtual names that we have, so it's easier to catch people's roles, and as well for the table topics master to see who has a big role that day or not. I think it's quite good. And within those terms, I would also, for example, change the name of Essen, that you have not changed the name in the Toastmasters Club online. So your name is Res. And for us that we don't know what Res, it's a bit confusing. So I think it's good to have consistency as well of all of us to check that we have all the information correctly in our Speakersy website. Then I do like as well, I did like that there is some sort of consistency in the themes. We started with a speech about COVID, about managers as well mentoring in a direct way people to adapt to change, with Melanie explaining about the role of the M's throughout the day, throughout her life, and how mentoring was so positive for her career as well. And for the table topics, it was very COVID related. And I do like this mostly, that's my personal opinion. And I think it will be very good to know as well for the new president, what's going to happen about our hybrid meetings with Toastmasters, because we have been talking about COVID. So I'm kind of wondering, I do not have access to the building anymore, but I do know that certain people, the IA or UNID or so on, would like to meet in person. So that's probably something we have to discuss. Apart from that, I believe that Adot and Sila did a wonderful job to be able to connect all the topics. Everything was majestic. And now we're going to the exciting part. David is going to tell us who won the table topics speech.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. It is my pleasure to announce today that the winner of the table topic has been Jordana. That's it from my side. Back to you, Madam Toastmasters.
Thank you, David. And now I'm going to give the floor to our Toastmaster of the day, Adot.
Well, thank you, Toastmaster General Julia and Madam General Evaluator, for your assessment and for guiding us expertly through that section of our meeting. This basically winds up our meeting for today. I personally have just one comment. I noticed that neither the hour counter nor the timer realized they should time the Toastmaster of the day or count the hours for the Toastmaster of the day. So there are no statistics on my performance, and I'm sure I've got enough of both. So for next time, I would suggest time everyone, count it for everybody. And with that, I would like to pass control of the meeting back to our presiding officer and current president, Toastmaster Tristan.
Can I just ask something before we continue?
I'll probably touch your topic.
All right, okay.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Adot. I'm not sure we're timing actually the Toastmaster of the Day, or we ever did, at least not since I'm here, but it's something we could be looking at it. But obviously any other aspect of when you intervene should be also evaluated. But I'm not sure we have actually defined timing for the Toastmaster of the Day.
We have never in the past.
Well, the days when I was a more active member, we would time everybody.
But why not? So it's something we.
It's okay. It's no problem.
It's something we can turn to the new club officer. And on that note, I see Eshan's got a comment before I.
Thank you, Tristan. Tristan, I have 2 points actually. One, what was pending, and thank you to Maria Teresa that she reminded me. I forgot to give the grammarian crown to this week to Melanie because she had a lovely vocabulary and words in her speech. So yeah, so this is one point, Tristan. Sorry, I interrupted you. And the second thing is, I think about 2 months ago, we spoke about this timer report that I wanted to implement an Excel sheet that I put all the time from the 12:15 till end of the session in the timing slot, even the minutes. So then we cannot run out of the time, and all these slots can be also statistically, we can put who was talking, let's say, having a speech more and who less, and who had a minimum share on this, let's say, timing of Toastmaster session.
Thank you, Eshan, for those lovely additions that you brought to the point. So as we're running out of time, I just wanted to briefly take the time to recognize the team that has worked over the last 12 months for the clubs to support you, and we're 16 today. And but you ultimately, all of you represent all our almost 30 members of the club right now. So I think we had a very, I would say, amazing year given the circumstances. We managed to conduct 29 meetings of the clubs. Only one of them was actually an hybrid meeting. To answer Julia, it was early September. We managed to do one hybrid meeting. I hope the club activity might be able to resume as of the 1st of July or as of the 1st of September. There's discussion ongoing on this, and you might want to think how you want to go forward. So we did 29 meetings, and we also had the 6 educational sessions, which we conduct with Maria in the last part of the year. So I think the club activity has been very good. We managed to maintain our activity and our full program despite the COVID situation we faced. And that basically we had in place when we started on the 1st of July. Rina is our surgeon of our arms and will continue to be our surgeon of our arms. And obviously, as we will move back to a more normal type of meeting or hybrid type of meeting, she will return to play a very significant role, and we will want to thank her. Our treasurer, Birgit, has been doing that for more than 10 years. She was supposed to come today and eventually give us a financial report on where we stand, but unfortunately she's in rehabilitation for a knee injury, or I don't know what the injury is, and she will give the reign of the bank account to Tom, our former president, who will take over. So in the absence, I would like all of you to clap for Birgit, Tom, and Rina for the work on our club. Let me now move to our secretary, which has been Sila. Sila took a club officer role at the start of the year, and it was great to have you on board during the year. And she will be giving her role and duties to Gordana, who's also with us here. I had planned to have some people talking, but I think we'll not do that because we're late. But thank you very much, Sila and Gordana, for taking this role. And I ask all of you to join me in thanking both of them for the work done and for the work coming. Our Vice President Public Relationship is Maria Teresa, who has jumped on this role early on in the process, and she will be giving this role to Toastmaster Nicole, who's joining now the club officer team. So a big kudos to Maria Teresa and Nicole for their role in public relationship. Our Vice President Membership is Ines, and she will remain our VPM next year. Thank you very much for this great success in our memberships numbers that we have accomplished. And you know, Ines has one quality in Toastmaster that we all learn from her, is her ability of delivering speech which are using brevity. She's always short and to the point. And it's always a pleasure to listen to you, Ines. And our Vice President Educations, Melanie, who is playing with her hair like this and who has passions for M's. And her greatest passion is Maria Teresa, also with an M, to whom she will give over the role of Vice President Education, a role that Maria Teresa also helped Melanie during the years. So thank you to both of you. That's all a job also with a lot of work. So great kudos to all of you. And finally, I will be handing over the key to your heart of great speaker, to Melanie, to take over the role of the president of the club for the upcoming year. I wish her and the rest of the officer and the rest of the membership a great year, and wish you all well on that perspective. So thank you for taking over the club as of now, and for the upcoming year that you're going to bring on this. So that's wanted just to conclude that part of the meeting. And before we close, I would like to invite Sushan, who's been our guest, who joined just after we started, just to say a few words about himself and maybe share some thoughts about you participating in this first meeting. And usually it's a bit awkward when we attend those meetings afterwards. So Sushan, over to you.
Thank you, Tristan. And thank you so much for having me today as a guest for the Toastmaster VIC. I'm completely new to the system of Toastmaster. I've heard a lot about it from people who are active in Toastmaster and how it helps you with public speaking and participation in general. So I really wanted to get involved, and I really enjoyed the session. Different thoughts from different people about teleworking was really interesting to hear. And yeah, the whole idea of work from home, pandemic, and how people are coping with it in VIC was also really interesting to hear from you guys. And I hope to attend maybe one more session and decide whether I'll join or not. So yeah, thank you, Tristan, and thank you all for having me.
Sushan, you can attend another 2 sessions. As a guest, you can attend 3 sessions, and it's always great to have you. And did you hear Sushan's deep voice? My gosh, you already have advantage with that voice, which is full of gravitas. So well done, Sushan, and looking forward to you coming to another meeting. On that note, and on this very cool day and cool time in Vienna right now, I wish you a great rest of the afternoon. And see you on early July. Melanie, when is the next meeting? Because now I'm checked out. So over to you, Melanie. You close the meeting.
I'm not ready. You asked when the next meeting is. We have the XCOM meeting on the 6th of July, and on the 13th will be our first meeting. And I will definitely get back to everyone per email if we're allowed to do hybrid, in person, or we're continuing. For now, we're continuing definitely online no matter what. And Maria Teresa will be the one who's going to send out all the meeting invites. She's actually already put in, I think, 1 or 2 meetings, right, Maria Teresa? So looking forward to a new year. And I have a mission for everyone that we have to get some more male presence. So we'll talk about that at our first few meetings to see how we can get more members. Okay, so I have nothing else to add. Thank you. It's a nice afternoon.
On that note, see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.